Alright, I'm gonna take a little break from Transformers and focus on one of my favorite uh, uh, character, favorite cartoons when I was growing up. It's called Masters of the Universe. If you have not heard of Masters of the Universe, then boy, you're a very young guy. Masters of the Universe was called back in the 80s, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It was a big hit among kids back then, and I was one of those big fans of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. They had all these misproportioned toys. They were like 4 inches. They had huge muscles, huge heads, and whatnot. And I did keep a few of my collection pieces from my collection, but all the others were just broken and sold off and given away. And then came the early 2000s, 2000 between 2004 and 2006, if I'm not mistaken. Cartoon Network decided to redo the whole idea of Masters of the Universe and give it like an anime edge, and they came out with this show, Masters of the Universe. Um, it starred everybody. It had the same characters back in the 80s, and the toys were unbelievably way better than the 80s toys. Uh, I am just so glad that Mattel stepped up and made a more posable, more proportioned set of figures for the Cartoon Network show. When I was okay, just a quick note on Mattel and Masters of the Universe. On Big Bad Toy Store, you will see there are pre-orders or orders for a new Masters of the Universe Classics figure line, toy line. And this is essentially, they've brought back the scale of the old 80s toys and just given them more joints, or better looking joints. Frankly, I'm not too hot about those toys. I am actually more interested in these Cartoon Network toys. And unfortunately, the show, I think, has been canceled, and which, a lot of people see, well, I personally think that's also going to be the fate of the Transformers animated show, but we'll just have to find out and see, right? But the show has been canceled, and so is the toy line. There are very few Masters of the Universe figures left out there on retail. A lot of them are, well, you'll find them in hobby shops at really, really ridiculously high prices. Um, these guys usually retailed for about, oh, I don't know, $10. And since they were now a rarity, I got her in particular for about, $14. Not too bad. Considering the fact that Evil-Lyn specifically is a very rare and hard to come by figure in the entire line. The hardest would have to be Tila. I have not gotten a Tila yet. The hobby shop is selling it for about $60, which just ridiculous. So I'm still waiting for my opportunity to get one. I got this figure at a toy convention, and he was being sold for $16. I haggled, and the vendor gave it to me for $14. So that's pretty cool. When I was a kid, I've always wanted to have an Evil-Lyn. I mean, she was one of those figures that I could never get because she was so hard to find, and I am just stoked that I finally got my hands on an Evil-Lyn. She's one of my favorite villains on the show. She was like a female version of Skeletor. She was like a female enforcer, sorcerer, and to some extent enforcer of Skeletor. So have a good look at her. Let me just the camera a little bit so you can see her. Uh, right there. Very nice detailing on this figure. I really like it, and I'm so happy I finally got her. Let's just show her with her ex-lover. The show did reveal that both Skeletor and Evil-Lyn, before they became evil, they were lovers. And Skeletor's head was still human before he struck a deal with Hordak for longer life and made his sorry about that, and made his face into a skull. Okay, very nice. Even this Skeletor figure is way better than the 80s figure. Okay, just a few more size comparisons. If you have Mattel figures, this is Staff Strike Batman from the Dark Knight movie line toys. It's about 5 inches. Evil-Lyn is about 6 inches, a 6-inch figure, so pretty tall. And finally, for the Star Wars line, the 3-inch line, 3 3/4 inch line, it just reaches about her waist level. So it's a pretty big figure. I mean, and I'm a big fan of female figures. Trying to get every single female figure from all the lines that I collect, and as I said, I'm just missing Tila, so hopefully I'll get her soon. Okay, let's talk about the figure in detail. She does come with 2 weapons. Her magical staff. This is like her magic wand, this is how she deals her spells and sorcery. And she comes with a dagger. I was quite surprised that she did come with a dagger. I think this is the dagger that was seen in one of the episodes where it's a mystical dagger of sorts, I think. If I'm not mistaken, that's the exact dagger. Her outfit is very reminiscent of quote-unquote G1, Masters of the Universe. The headpiece is almost very accurate. Even the whole couture of this figure is very nice, very much like the 80s cartoons. The only difference is the color. It's a lot more purple this time, when in the 80s she was a lot more blue and black. Anyway, one last look at this figure. I highly recommend this whole figure line. I mean, if you're a collector, you can still hunt these figures down. I definitely recommend them. The He-Man figures are great. Skeletor, Trapjaw. I have Triclops, Evil-Lyn now, Man-at-Arms, Orko, Stratos, all your favorite 80s Masters of the Universe. They're much improved, if I do say so myself. So there you have it. A very nice looking figure. And she's a lot more posable this time. The feet can go in and out, go forward and back. Arms do rotate 360 degrees, and go in and out, and the wrists rotate 360 degrees. No elbow joint, unfortunately, and the head just goes left and right. And oh, I forgot to mention, she does retain her power punch action just like the 80s. And one thing very nice, very cool, which I did forget to say, almost forgot to say, is that the female figures for this line can actually stand up. They have made the feet wider, much wider, because the 80s toys, they could not stand up. You had to lean them back on the wall or find a flat base with a peg to stick them on. So there you have it. Masters of the Universe, Evil-Lyn. Thanks for watching.